Any advice for a hypermobile 10-year-old who continually sprains his fingers playing football? It happened to me when I was a child, and now those same fingers dislocate and sublux frequently. I always strap mine now when playing football, and it mostly prevents issues. My child's therapist said not to strap his fingers. What is your opinion? Now, strapping, taping, bracing, as I've talked before in previous videos, if you have a joint that is highly likely to be injured and damaged, preventively brace it. There's no sense in injuring something, particularly repeatedly, when you can prevent it from happening in the first place. It is much easier to prevent than it is to fix later. Now, a couple of things to know. Joints that don't have a lot of control and support, so particularly fingers, ankles are a big one that I harp on with bracing, but if your finger is getting jammed all the time, dislocated, there's not a whole lot you can do. When you're playing a contact sport where you have forces either from a ball or from another player that you can't control what direction they're coming at, you're better off to be able to brace them. Now, I'm going to use the term brace kind of universally for taping, bracing, strapping, but whatever works best for that particular situation. Now, I know with my fingers, I jammed them all the time. I dislocated my thumb. It was an ongoing issue with the sports I played. Now, depending on the sport you're in, so I played a lot of basketball. I don't know that I would have signed up to prophylactically brace or tape my fingers just because of the effect on my performance, but I definitely taped them like when they were injured, and that was the only way I was able to play. Now they have a lot better braces. They've got some great silicone ones that you can use that would work well for sport, and those might have been a much better option had they existed back when I was playing. Now for a sport like football, whether it's American football, European football, that's going to be something that you can tape up your fingers and not have it dramatically impact your ability to play, and you can do that prophylactically and hopefully not develop those instabilities, which is a much better way to go. So when I recommend doing that is either one, if you have a joint that is highly likely to be injured. Ankles, we see that all the time. Typically, if you're hypermobile, it's not a matter of if you're going to end up with an ankle sprain, it's just a matter of when. Or if you've already had injuries and you're getting them repeatedly, that would be a time where if it's already been injured, I would just brace it. Now, one of the big arguments that I get about bracing and taping is, well, is it going to make you weak? Is it going to make you not use that body part? And there are cases that does happen, but it doesn't tend to be for things like fingers, particularly when you're doing it for sport versus doing it all the time. Now, would I recommend bracing your finger, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? No. You need to be able to use your hand. You need to be able to control and work with your strength and your movement. But that is very different from doing that with a high intensity activity or a high contact activity. That can be a totally separate situation. And so you can strap your fingers every single practice game for football and not do it at all for school, home, the rest of the day, and you're not going to lose function in your fingers for that.